Every journey is either an escape, a pursuit, or an exploration. In which case, this particular journey is all three. An escape, because escaping the city, getting out alone, escaping people, escaping some extended family dramas, all those kinds of things just tend to melt away once you get farther enough away from town. That's the escape. The pursuit, well, in this case, the pursuit is for some great astro landscapes, hopefully. That's the pursuit. And the exploration, well, it's the exploration of discovering those compositions and locations and places. It's also a bit of camping. This particular trip, I'm going to hopefully stay for 2 nights. I can live in my car quite comfortably for 2 nights. I've got my fridge, I've got food, I've got onboard AC power, pretty much all the comforts of home. This time I've even got a little shower that I'm going to try out. I'm going to combine my last trip to this same location in this video, I think, mainly because I didn't have my microphones and the audio that I was recording in the car was just terrible. It was a great trip because the location I'm going to, the times I have been there, it has been dry, and the last time I went, there was standing water with some beautiful reflections. So I am hoping that we have had enough rain that it is still the case. It's a great place. It's lots of locations to camp off the road. There's firewood everywhere. I've just got to check, make sure there's no fire ban at the moment. There's a sign up as you go in that tells you whether there is or there isn't, and whether they're permitted. But notwithstanding, I can cook with electricity, so it's no big deal. It is nice to have a campfire, though. I have a limited window of opportunity, which is why I'm probably going to stay for 2 nights, because the time between the sunset and moonrise is only a few hours in that window of opportunity for getting the setting Milky Way. It's going to be quite low in the sky, so I'll be able to get some different compositions. It's the last chance I'm probably going to get to photograph the Milky Way core for the year. It's also a bit of an exploration and adventure because I recently acquired a DJI Mini Pro 5, drone. So I'm going to do a little bit of filming with that. Obviously try some panoramas and some aerial landscapes. I'm not a videographer, as these videos I'm sure make abundantly clear. I also am curious about using it as a light source from above. I'm going to experiment a bit with that. So we'll see what results. But yeah, there's a lot I'm going to try and fit in this trip, hence going for 2 days. And yeah, it's a beautiful drive, and I'm about nearly halfway there. So when I've got something more interesting to say, we'll get into it. Until then, I was trying to get the camera on ready to show. Oh, we got a little bit of canola coming through here. Canola fields, a little bit of a treat this time of the year when they're in full bloom. Beautiful fields of yellow. When I say beautiful, not everyone's a fan of canola and monocropping, but it is a staple crop. It's used for stock, feed, and obviously seed oils and that kind of thing. They are an Instagram magnet for influencer types who walk out into the middle of these fields to get their photos and just don't do it. It's someone else's property, it's their livelihood, it's their crop. They don't want people trampling it, they don't want people trespassing. First rule of photography, in my opinion, is don't damage the beauty that you're trying to capture, especially with landscape or nature type photography. You're there not to damage anything, you're there to capture something and be respectful of it. And that includes other people's property, regardless of how entitled you think you are to it. There are places you can go, they're opening up for people to take those kinds of photos, but do something else. It's old hat, it's predictable, just don't do the same thing as everyone else. I mentioned in my intro about being an escape. I'll add to that as well. This sort of photography, the astro landscape photography, is an escape from my day job photography, which is photographing people. So this is at the opposite end of the spectrum, being as far away from people as possible. Don't get me wrong, I love my day job. I absolutely adore my day job. I am extremely fortunate that the photography I do, my business, is pretty much done in 2 to 3 months of the year, mainly on the weekends. And the rest of the time, a few bits and pieces in between, but I have a lot of free time. I am not rich by any stretch, but I am comfortable. I can provide for my family. We are a double income household though. But that work-life balance, that being time rich, I wouldn't swap for anything. I could not do the grind that people do in high power type jobs where you're putting in so many hours and chasing the dollars that you then have to spend to make yourself feel better for the little amount of time you have on gadgets and trinkets and things to show that it's all worth it, when I can get by on very little. That's why I go to op shops and buy a lot of second-hand stuff. When you're time rich, you've got time to find those kinds of bargains. So you don't do without much. And the reward is all of the time you have and the quality of life that gives you. Because this little guy's in the middle of the road. Hey! Hey! You alright? Yes, very scary. These ants are going to get you. It's not a good place to be. You need to be off the road. Come on, before the ants get you. Come on, off you go. Come on, quick, quick, quick. Quick, quick, quick. Quick, quick. Alright, it took some encouragement. Come on, go, 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 quick. Come on. Bye-bye. My usual spot was unfortunately dry. Well, when I say dry, it looked like it could be a little bit sticky. But I have found another spot that I can get into quite happily. And we have plenty of water. We've got a nice level spot. Lovely. There's some midgy type critters I'm not thrilled about. Hopefully they don't hang around all night. I've got some good bug spray and I've got a little bug zapper that I put in the car once I close everything up and kill any bugs that are in there. Last thing you want to do is squashing them into your headlining. So that works well. One of those little ultraviolet ones that lures them in and zaps them. It's much better than those things that put out odours and that kind of thing. It just clears your car out quickly. But here's our spot, which, I don't know about you, I think I can work with that. The ground seems to be firm. I don't know how far out I'll be able to go. I've got two sets of boots. I've got my shallow, comfy ones. I've got my deeper boots that aren't quite so comfy. So we'll see what we can get away with. And we've got quite a bit we can work with here depending on how far out we can get. As you can see, there's people camped over there, but I'll be well out of their way. They'll probably wonder what the frig I'm doing out here at 11 o'clock at night, but it won't be wee hours of the morning because the moon will be coming up unless I am feeling particularly adventurous to do something with the moon. Great trees, great patterns, great shapes, reasonable amount of density. Milky Way will be setting over that way, so with the water, so we should be getting, if the wind dies down, we should get some beautiful reflections. And I'll head back in a minute and start setting up camp and maybe put the drone up and get a bit of footage. Well, as is obvious, I'm in a different spot to where I was last night. This is where the other people were camping, and when I saw them leave this morning I thought I might check out this spot because last night was successful photographically for the most part, although it did become overcast on the horizon, which was a bummer as the Milky Way core got lower. Still flies. But as far as aesthetics went, it left a little to be desired. The had an absolute tiny bug infestation. Car was just filled with them. My little bug zapper wasn't working properly. I ran out of charge. Covered the headlining. It was literally like breathing protein. are just awful. And it was because I was camped where there was all these little salt bush things, and that's where they all seemed to hang out. And I assumed that because people were camping here, it was probably less of a problem. But that remains to be seen. Flies are still an absolute pain though, but they won't be tonight at least. I'll use a bit of bug spray and see how that goes for me. But yeah, this is a lovely little spot. Close to the water again, but not close to those small bugs at least yet. Don't seem to have an ant infestation either, although there's a few nests around. Obviously got pre-used fire pits and things, plenty of firewood around again. So yeah, it was successful last night, except I dropped my phone in the lake, but lucky it's waterproof. And got a few good images, a few panoramas. But I think tonight will be a lot better. Just usually your first night, it's like the first pancake. You tend to throw your first pancake away, but the ones that follow are pretty good. And last night was more like feeling my way around with this new conditions with this area of water here and the trees, and see what I can manage with it. But I'll get this camp set up now, chill for a bit, and see what the evening brings. I have a composition in mind for tonight, but it's out there. So I've stripped down to only things that are short and waterproof, and I'm going to see how far I can get. I don't know how deep it is. I don't know how soft it is. I think it firms up as you go in. Oh, she's a bit squishy, but so far so good. Because I don't know how deep it gets. So we're going to try, before we bring expensive, less waterproof electronic photographic equipment. And I don't know, so far I think we're okay. I will not linger on the legs. Very pale and straggling. But I think my plan for this one, because it's a very simple minimalist composition that I'm going to go for here. Like last night, we've got water on the lake, so rather than getting reflections, we get a shimmer, we get a silver sort of sheen. Yeah, so it does have its own beauty. I'll shoot a little bit longer in focal length so I can compress the scene a little bit more. It's also a less expensive lens if everything goes pear-shaped. But no, I think, no, we're good. We haven't even got up to our knees yet. So yeah, that will be the main focus for tonight. I mean, there's a whole heap of stuff to play with over there, but it's very chaotic. And yeah, some chaotic compositions are great, but the ones I like are just like a more pure, simple, focused composition. When I can. It's not always easy. Anyway, oh, and actually the water is really nice. So it's not going to be too unpleasant. Just means shedding a lot of clothing and taking a lot of risks with equipment, but that's what I do. Okay, we're on crazy low shutter speed, very high ISO. Finishing up tonight, as you can see, we have a beautiful reflective lake and setting Milky Way. I'm assuming you can hear me. I'm speaking quietly because I think there's actually someone else photographing out here tonight. But all in all, yeah, it's been a lovely evening. I think we've got some great shots. Obviously, we'll only find out when we put them all together and process. I messed up a few at the beginning. Focus. I was using the Benro tonight, so I could just capture a multitude of panoramas. Once you set up your Benro Polaris, it's great for just doing multiple panoramas. You can just sort of move it, keep the orientation, and you can just change the composition without having to reset all the parameters. You can just move the whole tripod as long as you line it up the same way. You can get the full Milky Way arch and then just worry about your foreground composition. But the first few I did, I had landscape and portrait mixed up, so the overlap would be wrong. So I'm assuming that those I'm assuming those early ones aren't going to work out. But I just kept going. When you're working on water as well, every time you move, you've got to stay still for a while until all the ripples die down, especially when you've got almost zero wind tonight, which is great, so you can get the reflections. Especially with panoramas, if you get a bit of movement in between, you get weird kind of artifacting because you've got perfect stars reflected in some shots and streaks in other ones. Yeah, no, it's been a great night. It's been lovely, and I hope just looking at what's behind me, at what I'm standing in, like I'm standing in the stars. Hope that comes across, and that's the magic of the whole thing. Yeah, the day is a little different because it's a different day. What was a two-nighter, I'm going to make 3 days, not consecutive. I've gone home, caught up with some work, and come back because, yeah, I still want to get more out of this location before the Milky Way core sets for the year. And I want to do some experimentation with some unusual lighting. And this, I think, will be a good spot for it because we're going to have the Milky Way setting over there. And I'm going to downlight this area here. If it turns out, you'll see it at the end of the video. If it doesn't, you won't see my mistakes, my horrible mistakes. hoping for a lovely sunset. Clouds supposed to be clearing tonight. Fingers crossed, that's what the weather forecast is. Cloudy today, but clearing tonight. It does look like it's breaking up over there, so we should be good. It's more midweek now, so I'm less likely to have people out here, which suits me just fine. And yeah, we'll give it another crack. And I've just spied another middle of the lake type shot that I'll try tonight as well. We've got a full night tonight because we've got no moon, and yes, it's going to be a long one, but that I think will line up better with the Milky Way than the other one I did over there. And it's not too deep here, so I just stripped down and wade out. Hopefully it's not too cold tonight. For me, there's a special and addictive beauty to these kind of places. And one thing this area of the wheatbelt always provides is a magnificent sunset. And yeah, it's a great sunset from here, but maybe we can even get a better view. Basically filming on the camera that I'm lugging through the muddy Salt Lake, and these guys over here, that's, oh, sorry, I'm knee deep. That's gonna be our centerpiece for the Milky Way. So, just got to come around it. But it's a struggle when you're carrying all this. But yeah, it's kind of pretty like that, isn't it? But we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I think this is our last composition out on the lake. I'm like slipping around in mud, knee deep. But look at it. We've got light pollution from a town over that way. I'm not sure what that is, might be Brookton, but doesn't matter. It's just there. It's lighting up the horizon and gives us these reflections, but still we've got a night sky. And yeah, out on the lake, slipping and sliding around in mud, but it's just, I don't know, it's great. I'm gonna do some lighting tricks with the drone next. We'll see how that goes. Just for some fun. Well, that was a fun and rewarding evening out here on the lake, although I forgot to bring my shower, so I have to find another way to clean my feet before I go to bed tonight. Had some good fun with using the drone for lighting, which is, yeah, something I hadn't considered before, but because they've now got little downlights, it's something that can be used, which is great. So it is the last, for me, of the Milky Way season. Really enjoyable this particular trip, because I had plans in mind of what I wanted to do after the last few times I've been out here and like experimenting with things, and you know, and was able to put it all together and make something of it. And artistically, I hope it all works. I think it will. But also, because it's the end of my work season as well, I was able to relax a little bit more into it and just enjoy being in these places. Like, that's the big thing. That's the biggest thing, is that escape to create something. You're not running away and just like chilling out. You're actually coming out to somewhere different, away from people, to explore nature, the universe, bring it all together and be in it. And it's the most peaceful, like, yes, there's wanting to do things and the experimenting and everything else, but it's just standing there under the stars, sitting here under the stars. I mean, I don't normally do a campfire. This is very rare. But there it is. But otherwise, just standing out there under the stars is just the most magical experience. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to spoil it by sort of hyping it up, because it's kind of like the salt lakes at a uni in Bolivia, where everyone goes there now for tourism, and there's so many vehicles and people and everyone out on that salt lake, and it's just kind of ruined. But places like this, and the isolation and being alone, and just this solitary experience and this solitary creation of your own ideas and art, nothing beats it. Hi, while editing this video, I thought I'd put together a little slideshow highlighting everything I've been able to get from this lake system throughout the year. As I've mentioned in earlier videos, the first time I visited this lake, I sold it short. It was a pretty rough time of year that I went. It was full of ants and I didn't give it much of a chance, and I didn't look around. It was a really hot day and just unpleasant. But I've been back many times since, and it's really got a lot to give. And so I thought to put together something to highlight everything that I've been able to get during the year, because we've had everything from very wet to very dry and in between. So it's given me, I think, all the seasons that it has to offer. Just as an addition to my little fireside chat, I thought I'd just highlight again what I'm trying to do with these videos is bring to life the experience of capturing astrophotography and what's so addictive about it.
And one of those things is just being out in that space, in that environment, the slogging through mud and water sometimes, depending on the type of astrophotography and how adventurous you want to be. The stillness, the quietness, standing out in the middle of the water in silence except for the little squawks of the water birds. It's just such a peaceful experience. And you're bringing home something with you to treasure as well from that experience. But what's important to remember is while we're enjoying our photography or any other activity in these sorts of places, the relatively unspoiled and remote places, is to treat them with respect and treat other people who use them with respect. As photographers, we should always be conscious of not leaving an impact of our being there. We're there just to take photos and leave the place as we find it. Also keep in mind, if there are other people photographing, try and stay out of their sight lines with your lights and things like that. Noise and such from other campers is usually less of a problem, but light pollution can spoil things. So let's try and respect other people's usage. So hopefully you'll see what this lake has to give from the slideshow I'm going to put up to finish off the year. Thanks for watching.